Off campus. Let's talk about it. This has been my most recent TV obsession. As you guys know, I obsess over pretty much every TV series I ever watch, but of course there's the few that really get to me, and this has been the most recent one. This show released on May 13th. I watched, which I believe is a Wednesday. I watched it on Thursday, so the day after it came out, which means I was not late to this one, unlike with Heated Rivalry. I know I made that video recently. If you haven't watched it, go check it out if you're interested in Heated Rivalry as well. That one I was a little late to. It came out in November. I didn't watch it until like end of January, so I was a little late to the party. With this one, I was on top of it. I was like, I can't let that happen again. Clearly this is a new thing. I gotta get on it. This series hooked me from that first episode. I watched that first episode. I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna be here all night. This series has 8 episodes in the first season, and like I said, I started watching it Thursday evening, and each episode's like almost an hour long. Like, it's a good like 50-minute episode or so, and yeah, I started it, watched the first 2 episodes, took a break, went downstairs, ate dinner with my family, and I went right back upstairs and finished the rest of the series in the same night, staying up till almost 2 a.m. to finish it. Because I'm that type of person that if all the episodes are out there, especially with a short season like that, it's not like it has like 20 plus episodes where it's like, all right, that would actually take me some time to get through. I'm the type where if I know there's more episodes to watch, how am I going to be able to, all right, I'm going to go to bed and just watch the rest tomorrow? No. So I watched every single episode that night for the first time, and it had me, like I said, hooked from the beginning. From that first 10 seconds, I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be good. So yeah, as I said before, this is an 8-episode TV series for season 1 at least. It's on Amazon Prime right now, and it is based off of the book series written by L. Kennedy. I have not read these books at all, never really heard of them before this. I had a coworker, the same coworker who had read all the Heated Rivalry book series and watched the show and was like, you have to watch it. She said the same thing to me about this. She was like, off campus, you have to watch it. It's so good. To compare this to other book adaptation series like Heated Rivalry and The Summer I Turned Pretty, which are other 2 shows that I've also obsessed over and watched, I'd say it's a good in-between of the 2. In a way, they don't compare because I feel like each one is so different. Especially, of course, a lot of people are comparing this with Heated Rivalry right now because they're both so popular right now and they're both hockey romances. But even with that, I'd say that's the only thing they have in common is that they are hockey romances. Other than that, very different. Of course, you've got Heated Rivalry as a queer romance, which obviously makes it different and unique on its own. Whereas this one is definitely the more cliche, straight, predictable romance with a very popular trope. As before, as I said, I feel like it can kind of place a little bit in the middle of the 2 different shows. Like I said, comparing to like The Summer I Turned Pretty and Heated Rivalry, which are the 2 shows that I'm seeing it compared to the most right now. The Summer I Turned Pretty, of course, takes place like high school age. Like the characters are playing like they're in high school. Summer's between high school years. And then Heated Rivalry, they're adults. Although the show starts off they're like 18. It goes well into their adulthood of like 24, 25, and so on. This show takes place in college. So like I said, I think it's a good in-between maturity-wise. Like, I'd say it's a little bit more mature than The Summer Turned Pretty when it comes to like the nudity and the sex scenes and all of that. But maybe a step down. And this is just my opinion, of course. Like I said, I've loved this series. I'm obsessed with it just as I'm obsessed with Heated Rivalry and The Summer I Turned Pretty. I think it's maybe a little bit of a step down to Heated Rivalry just in the sense of like, I don't know. I'd say emotionally, but at the same time, this show does have a lot of emotional depth as well. But I think Heated Rivalry was done just so well, and it is so unique on its own. Same thing with The Summer I Turned Pretty and Heated Rivalry. I watched this TV series before reading the books, as I said before. With the other 2 as well, I didn't read the books until after I watched the series. For The Summer I Turned Pretty, I listened to the audiobook series because when I was driving to Tempe for school, and so I had a lot of drive time, a lot of hours in the car where audiobook just made sense. And I liked that the Summer I Turned Pretty series was read by the actors themselves. With Heated Rivalry, I bought all of the books and read them all after watching the TV series. So I will probably most likely be doing the same thing with this series as well. And I've heard that there is a lot of books. There's like 4 or 5 of the original off-campus series, and then there's like a sequel series that I think mostly has like all of the kids of the original characters, and that's the Briar U series. And then there's even another like 3rd series maybe, or like at least a book or 2 that's like The Legacy or something like that. Like I said, I'm very new to all this. I'm still looking into it as I speak, but I will definitely be looking into this as I become a reader a little bit. Mostly, like I said, after watching TV series like this one, I'm like, all right, I gotta read the books. I gotta know more. I gotta know the lore, you know? So definitely be getting into that as soon as well. Now, earlier, as I mentioned, by cliche, predictable, by this, I mean that the show, like I said, follows a very It's a fake dating trope. So it's one of those tropes where you know exactly where it's going, and like I said, it's predictable. There's also the opposites attract trope going on here. You've got Hannah Wells, who's the lead female of the show, at least for season 1. She is a music major, a classical music major, or contemporary music. I don't know exactly the name of her major, but she writes classical music and she plays the clarinet. And then so she's friends with all musicians and theater nerds and all that side of the university. And then you've got Garrett Graham, who's the male lead of the season, and he's a hockey player. He's the star player of his team. He's the captain of his team, student athlete, very popular with the girls at the school, all of the above. So that alone, like I said, very opposites attract. They're not friends, like they're not in the same group at all. They just have a class together. Basically, how it starts off is Garrett needs to pass this class. Like I said, they have this class together. It's a philosophy class from what it seems like. He needs to pass this class in order to keep playing hockey. And so he asks her to tutor him. And of course, at first she's like, why would I help you? I don't know you. Go find someone else, dude. But then they kind of come into an agreement. He really, really wants her to help her to study, which it's because she's passed the last paper. But I also think early on he just has a little bit of an eye for her. He recognizes her and is like, she's served me before at this restaurant that's like the popular restaurant that she works at, and that like is like the college hangout of the town, I'm assuming. And so he really, really wants her to tutor him, no one else. So he's like really trying to convince her. He catches on really quickly that she has this crush on Justin Cole, who's a musician who plays at the restaurant that she works at, and he also goes to school with them and shares that same class with them. She has a big fat crush on him. Seems like she has for some time now, with her best friend, you know, kind of talking about it with her and stuff. He basically is like, how about this? What about this deal? Which, by the way, is the name of their book, The Deal, of the off-campus series, the first one of the series. He's like, you tutor me and help me pass this class, and I'll be your fake boyfriend so that you can make Justin jealous. And she's like, okay, so it's mutually beneficial. It's mutually beneficial. We both get something out of this. She's like, okay, deal. And that's how they start their friendship, their connection, their basically the start of the series. And of course, by predictable, I mean, it's a predictable trope. You know, fake dating, they act like they're dating, they hold hands out in public, they fake kiss, all the things to make the other guy jealous, for other people to think that they're dating. Eventually, there's tension, there's a connection, they get close to each other because they spend so much time together. You obviously can expect them to fall for each other. With this one, I think it definitely falls under the he falls first category. Like, he definitely, I think, falls for her first. Because like I said, at the same time that she, like, is doing all this with him, she has this crush on this other guy. But eventually you also see that slowly fizzle, and she realizes she has a much better time spending time with Garrett rather than this Justin guy that she originally had a crush on. And so, like I said, it's predictable in the sense of you can see where it's going. You know that they're going to end up together. They're going to like each other and fall for each other. And then later at the end of the season, there's of course some big fight. They end up breaking up. He's like, I'm not good enough for you, which we all hate when that happens, when the guy's always like, I'm not good enough for you. You deserve better than me. And you're like, shut up. You like her. She likes you. Just be together. You're fine. And so then again, they break up, and you know they're going to end up back together because, again, they're endgame. Like, they love each other. They need to be with each other. Okay. Moving on, let's talk about the soundtrack of this series. Oh my gosh, how good is the soundtrack? I knew from the first 10 seconds of watching that first episode, I was like, oh, it started off strong. It was Dancing with Myself. It's a little split screen action where it's Garrett gearing up for hockey and going to go skate on the ice and practice. And she, which, like I said, I guess I didn't say, but she is she does like work study for the school to help pay for her tuition. And so she like works at the hockey arena. I'm assuming like she does like the laundry and cleans and stocks things. That's what it kind of looks like from the beginning. And so it's a montage duo split screen moment where he's getting ready for hockey and like practicing, and she's like has her headphones on dancing to the song and just like dancing and singing along while she's doing her work at the hockey arena. So it's a little side-by-side action. Like I said, right away it hooked me. I was like, oh, this is good. I like the vibe already, you know? It fits the vibe real good. Next, another one of the songs that really stand out to me, and of course the rest of the fandom right now, is Cherry Pie. Hannah sings this song at karaoke night, and this is definitely a pivotal moment, I'd say, in the show. I think it's the moment, at least a lot of people are talking about and kind of in agreement of, that maybe the moment that Garrett starts to realize he has feelings for her and starts to fall for her a little bit, more than just the fake dating, fake girlfriend vibe, you know? She basically sings a song to karaoke, which the moment in general is just sweet, because before this, there is a time where she's supposed to go over to help him study, goes over to his house, and he is with another girl, and she accidentally walks in on them, and while him and this other girl are getting it on, he's playing Cherry Pie on his speakers. So it's kind of just like a fun moment where she chooses to sing this song at karaoke just to kind of get at him a little bit and be like, oh, you know this one, Grandma? And then she starts singing it, and she freaking eats this up, bro. She eats this up. She sounds so good. Her version of the song is great. And at the same time, she's wearing this red leather jacket and a red top, and so it just fits the vibe very well. And she's just eating this up. And although, because of this too, is because she had a couple drinks, which part of her storyline, which I'll get to later, is she doesn't like to drink in public. She doesn't like to drink at parties. She's very, like I said, she tries not to drink in public, but he kind of catches on to this, and he's like, do you want to drink? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I just don't really like it. And he's like, well, if you want to, like, you'll, like, you can, you know? And she's like, what about my friend? Which her friend's already drunk and, like, dancing and singing at this party too at karaoke night. And he's like, I'll take every friend, like, don't worry about it. He's like, if you want to drink, he's like, I'll guard your drinks with my life. I got you. He's like, do you trust me? And she's like, yeah, I do. Like, she says that she trusts him. So then basically they go on this little thing where they try to figure out what her favorite drink is, because again, she doesn't really drink very much. And so she ends up on pina coladas, of course, tasty drink. And she drinks about 4 of them, it looks like. And so she's definitely feeling it. And so now she's drunk enough to do karaoke night and sing karaoke. So then that's when she goes on the stage with a little bit of confidence, a little bit of these drinks in her, and like I said, sings a song to him, to everybody in the room, but like specifically to him, you know, dancing, singing, just having a whole vibe. Like I said, she looks good, she sounds good, it's a thing. And then it goes to clips of him looking at her, and again, you see that little look in his eye like, oh dang, he's starting to like her. He's falling for her a little bit. So yeah, that's definitely a moment there where, like I said, the song's just great. It's catchy. It's stuck in my head all the time now. And then the moment itself is like really, really awesome, because it's like you can really kind of see when he starts to have a thing for her a little bit. Next, this song that she sings for him at the hockey rink. Now this is an episode or 2 later, when now she also realized, because at this point when I'm like about to mention, he definitely already, he has a thing for her. He wants her to be his girlfriend, but she still seems like she has this thing for Justin. So he thinks, she doesn't like me like that, I need to move on. She likes Justin. I did my job. She helps him pass that test, and he helped her get the guy, which was kind of their deal. And so their deal's kind of off now, and it's like, all right, well, I guess this fake dating situation's done. Like, I've got Justin now, you got your grade, we're good. But he definitely, like I said, wants it to be more than that. He really got to like her and got to know her and wants to be more than just friends. And then she has a moment where she's talking with Justin, and I think, again, you see that realization where it's like she's already starting to question a little bit, like, do I have feelings for Garrett? No, I like Justin, no. But then, like, she talks with Justin, they just have no chemistry. They just have nothing in common, even though she thinks they do because they're both musicians. But when it comes down to it, they really don't. Like, he just says things, she's just kind of like, like, she just doesn't click with him the way she clicks with Garrett. Like, her and Garrett already got so close. Like, they're good friends now, and they just click well. They've got great chemistry. So, yeah, she has that moment where she realizes that, and then she rushes to go talk to Garrett. And she checks his house first. He's not home. So then she thinks, hockey rink. Maybe he's practicing there. So she goes there. You see Garrett skating around, hitting pucks, practicing by himself in the hockey rink. And then all of a sudden, you hear her singing in the, like, loudspeakers all in the arena, and it's one of those moments where he's looking around like, what, like, looking for her, spinning in circles looking for her, and then you see her up in the, like, I don't know what it's called, but the room, I'm assuming, where announcers normally are to, like, watch the game and announce for, like, the news, or I don't know exactly, again, how that works, but she's up there playing the piano and singing, and specifically, it's the song that they shared with one another earlier in the season as well. It's the song, Baby, Now That I've Found You by the Foundations. And this song was shown earlier in the season in this moment. And again, this is before they've admitted they have feelings for each other. They're still just friends. They're still just doing this deal. It's the episode called Orgasm. And it's the episode where she basically asks him to give her one as a favor. Because, and then, like I said, I'll get into this next. Because of some of her past traumas, she has trouble getting with guys and being able to have sex with other men. And so she basically asks him as a favor. It's a whole scene. And so basically they're doing this thing, and like to kind of set the mood, you know, because of course it's kind of nerve-wracking. It's kind of awkward. Like, they're just friends, but they're supposed to have sex to do, like, for this favor. And like, so he's like, he's like, pick a song, like, set the mood. And she's like, oh, set the mood, how romantic. Like, they're just joking with each other, you know? She's like, wait, this is your most played song, and it's that song that I just mentioned. And so she starts playing it, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, I love this song. He's like, this is a sexy song. And he starts dancing and grooving with it. He grabs her hand, he's like, see, look, you're feeling it too. And then they're having this, it's a super, super cute moment where they're just dancing, having a good time. Then he's like grooving with her, and they're like, and then eventually they get into it, start kissing and all that, and that's a whole moment. And then later, after the fact, she asks him again, she's a music major, and during all this process, she's also trying to work on a pop song, even though she mostly writes classical music with no lyrics. She's trying to work on this pop song for this pop showcase because she needs to win a scholarship to keep paying for her tuition. So she just asks questions about songs and trying to learn more as she like listens and tries to work on the song. So she asks him, she's like, you know, you said it's one of your most played songs. Like, how does a song make you feel when you listen to it? And he goes and basically says, I don't know, I guess it makes me feel bold. And she's like, bold? And he's like, yeah, you know, like the song basically says like, I like you, deal with it, you know? And she's like, oh yeah, like, yeah, you know? So they have that little deep moment talking about the song and everything. And so now fast forward back to when she sings this song in the rink to him. I think it's just a great moment that kind of showcases what they had talked about in that shared moment they already had with each other. Again, him saying it makes him feel bold and like, I like you, deal with it. For her to sing that song to him, it kind of just like reverses it back onto him. It's like, I like you. Like, it's like her bold moment of romantic gesture in hopes that maybe, you know, because at this point they haven't really shared any feelings with each other, like communicated that to each other. So I think this is her being bold and basically trying to show him that she does have a thing for him and like this big romantic gesture for him. And then in that scene, as she sings it to him, he's again finds her, sees her up there, and then he goes chasing after her as she's singing, goes up there, and then that's the first time that they really kiss, like for real, not like the fake, we're just friends, we're doing this fake dating thing. Like they actually, like, you know, they go to kiss and he's like, wait, he's like, are we on the same page here? And she's like, what, did you not just see my romantic gesture? Like I just sang to you, whatever. And he's like, I don't want to be your friend, Wellesley. And she's like, this is not how you kiss your friends. And then they kiss, and then so sweet. And then we go into this epic montage of them being together, and great moments for sure. And then one more thing about the soundtrack and the songs and the singing in the show. At the very end of the season, like I said, leading up to the entire season, she's working on this song for the pop showcase. And like I said, at this point, her and him are like dating, and like she's obviously told Justin like they're just gonna work on the song together, like just music collaboration only. She doesn't have a thing for him anymore. She doesn't have a crush on him anymore. She's all into Garrett, and like now they're together, right? So anyway, this entire time she's been working on this pop showcase song. For a while, she was working with Justin on this pop song, but they just weren't clicking together. Like I said, they didn't have chemistry romantically. They didn't have chemistry as friends. They didn't really have chemistry as music collaborators, honestly. They just don't have the same vibe at all. So it's probably a good thing that they cut that off. But she basically has like a week or two, maybe less, to come up with a song completely from scratch on her own. She basically scratches the entire song that she had been working on all semester with Justin and has to create her own. And it ends up being really, really good. She takes like these background noises from like the hockey rink and plays it on there. She's playing keyboard. She's like bouncing the songs and stuff and like singing along. And she creates this own original song that's basically a song about not being able to be who she is now without her old self. All the secrets she's kept in the past, all the things she's hidden from other people about herself, leading up to this moment now. It's like now she can finally be who she is because of the girl she used to be. And also in the song, there's parts where she's mentioning the love she has for Garrett. A great song, great scene. It's the great way to end the episode, end the season, honestly. It's in the last episode. And in this too, you know, Garrett, her best friend Allie, and all the other hockey guys, all of Garrett's friends, all come to watch her and support her. And it's just a really, really great moment. It's such a catchy, like, sweet song. And I think she just did such a really good job on it, honestly. All right, so as I've mentioned a couple times here and there, and I wanted to get to this eventually, I just want to kind of talk about the soundtrack and some other things first. But the thing that honestly did catch me by surprise a lot with the show, because again, I haven't read the books yet, so I had nothing going into this. I had no idea what the show was about, what to expect. And so this was something that kind of surprised me, but it was a really, really great part of the storyline for both leads, I would say, is the deep trauma that both of these characters have from their past and how it still affects them in present day during this current storyline. You see very early on, like I think even like the first episode, things trigger them, things make them have these flashbacks with Hannah. It looks like maybe not that young, like just like a couple years back, which we've come to find out it's in high school. She has these flashbacks to her like breathing really heavy, having a little bit of panic attack moments, talking to a therapist possibly, having to write things down. Like you're getting these little flashbacks and you're like, I don't really know what it's about, but clearly she has something that like triggers her and like flashes her back to those moments. And then with Garrett, it looks like flashbacks to his childhood and with his dad, because the flashbacks are him as a kid. And again, it's like you see these like certain things just trigger them and they think back to that for a moment, but at the very beginning we don't really exactly know what triggers them or what their past trauma is. And later in the show we figure out exactly what it is. There's basically an episode dedicated to both of them, or at least not dedicated, but like one single episode that like really shows the entire trauma and the entire background or talks about it the most. I think Hannah's comes first, and then Garrett's comes second right after, the next episode after. So for Hannah, her background, her trauma that like she relives throughout the show is back in high school, she was raped. And so this is something that she lives with, and you know, she went to therapy, she got past it all, but of course it's still something that is hard for her. There's, like I said, certain things that trigger her. Like there's a scene earlier in the show where, which we didn't know this at the moment, but we find out later in the like at the end of the show, the guy that assaulted her in high school walks by at some point in the hockey arena, and she sees him and then has one of those like panic, you know, freak out moments and has to get away for a second. And then, as I mentioned before with like that episode called Orgasm, she, you know, is thinking about her and Justin, you know, possibly getting together. Like she wants to be with him, you know, at the beginning she has this crush on him and wants to get with him, but she's so nervous about being with another man because she hasn't been able to since that happened in high school. So that's why she asks Garrett for the favor of like, I need to, you know, can you help me out? Let me like be with you. You give me one so that way I'm going to be able to be ready when I hopefully get to that point with Justin. As for Garrett and his trauma, he, first off, has his dad is a super famous, legendary hockey player that everyone knows his name. So he kind of already has that like pressure of like living up to his dad's legacy, living up to being as good as a hockey player as his dad was. Everyone's always comparing him to him. He's got all these eyes on him all the time. But then we come to find out that not only is his dad intense with him with that, like being really strict on him with hockey and like pressuring him to be as good as he was and practicing and training him from a young age, but we find out that his dad was also abusive towards his mom and also to him when he was a child. So that is an ongoing thing for Garrett and his character. And again, certain things trigger him. There's a moment, I think in episode 1, where Hannah says something very like nonchalantly, not meaning anything by it. She doesn't know his past yet. She says something about like hockey. She's like, oh, do you get off on beating people up? And you see this moment where Garrett goes, what? And then you see a flashback of like him and his dad as a kid. And again, we don't know all the details at this point in the show, but again, you see that flashback trigger moment as she says that. And she just meant it as like, well, you know, hockey's one of those sports where it's a non-contact sport, but, you know, they get off on like, you know, it's almost encouraged to beat people up in the sport and stuff. So that's a moment there. So again, as the show goes on, we see more and more of these that we start to pick up the pieces and realize what they are about. And then, like I said, we have an episode dedicated to Hannah's backstory, kind of sharing more of those moments. The time where she tells Garrett, like I said, the reason why she asks him to do this favor, she tells him then. And she's like, you're the only person at Briar U that knows. I haven't even told Allie, like her best friend. She's like, you're the only person. So I think that is also a very like good part of like their trust that kind of shows. Like you can see how much she trusts him with giving him that information, even though she's never told anybody, not even her best friend that she lives with. And then there's an episode where he shares with her, and there's a really soft moment where, you know, he kind of cries in her shoulders and like on her shoulder and like tells her everything that happened in his childhood. And then basically by the end of the show, I think it's like the second to last episode, the 7th episode, kind of both of the leads have like honestly like their worst possible day, their worst possible moments. Hannah finds out that the team that Garrett's going to be playing that day in this big, it's like a really big game. Like he really wants her there to support. She's like, of course I'll be there. Of course I'll be watching you. I'll be supporting you. She finds out though that the team he's playing against, their star player is actually the guy that assaulted her in high school. So she goes into full panic, is like stressing out about this, freaking out about this, looking back at her old high school notes and journals and songwriting that she used to do, and is just completely, like I said, freaked out because it's like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna be there. My boyfriend's gonna be playing the guy that hurt me, and like it's a whole thing. So she's freaking out about that and like not really, like she's kind of in her own world, like panicking about that. And Garrett's, you know, trying to hype himself up for this game that's a really, really big deal for him and his team. And then he sees that his dad and his fiance is there, and so he starts freaking out about that. Doesn't want his dad to be there. Had a big argument with his dad previously. Just doesn't want him to be there. So he's like really counting on Hannah being there to kind of center him and help him out through this, because she kind of is that for him. Like when he's having a hard time with hockey and having a hard time focusing on the game, getting angry, getting stressed, getting all the things, she's normally there to kind of help calm him and get him back into the game mindset. But because of her problem and her situation, she doesn't go to the game right away. So they're both in these really, really bad moments. But eventually, Hannah goes and talks to her advisor, has a good moment where she realizes she is capable of writing the song that she's been trying to write, and that she can get past this and like think of the good things in life, think of the people in your life that make you smile. Of course, she thinks of Garrett. So she decides to go to the game and get past that fear that she has to be there for Garrett. She realized that's the most important thing. She can't let the fear ruin the good things in her life. She should be there for Garrett, for her boyfriend. She loves him. She wants to support him. She can't be thinking about the other guy and the fear behind that. So now she's there to support him. She's able to calm him down after he's having a bad moment. and he gets back on the ice, and she's watching from the side, and unfortunately the guy who hurt her in the past looks over and sees her and had seen them previously and saw them kissing. So now he's caught on that Garrett is her boyfriend, and he makes a sly comment about her to Garrett under his breath. And then, of course, Garrett catches on, looks over, sees that he's talking about his girlfriend, and then just absolutely loses it. Just goes after him, beats the shit out of him. Hannah sees all of this happen, and Garrett storms off the ice, or basically gets dragged off the ice, because of course you beating someone up that bad, and like I said, beating people up, I guess, in hockey is encouraged, is like somewhat okay, but at a certain point it's like, no, you're like gonna beat that guy to death. Like, you got, like, they pull him off basically. After the game, they have this moment where Hannah, which honestly in this moment I think they were both equally right in a way. I think it was nice that Garrett wanted to defend his girlfriend, and like obviously that's something to be really, really angry about. The guy that's standing right in front of you on the ice who hurt your girlfriend and is now calling her a name and like saying these things about her, calling her a liar and calling her, you know, of course it's like, yeah, like stand up for your girlfriend to beat the shit out of him. And you know, he says that to him, he's like, you think I want to say, you want me to say sorry? Like, I'm not sorry. Like, I would do it again 100 times. Like, that guy's a piece of shit, and I would beat the shit out of him every time. But she's kind of, her argument, which again, I also agree with her side of like, I didn't want you to do that though. Like, this is my thing. I can get past this. I've worked so hard to get past this, and I don't want you to jeopardize your hockey career for this, because now this is obviously going to be a really bad thing for him. He's supposed to be signed on to be going to play for the Bruins, and he just got in this really bad fight that could really mess up his career, you know? So she's more like, not even mad that he defended her, but mad that he did that, and like, it's possibly her fault that he could jeopardize his hockey career in the future, jeopardize the rest of the season for their team. So they get into this argument. This is kind of what I mentioned earlier, where it's like they get into this argument, they break up, and he's basically like, I'm not good for you, you're too good for me, I'm not good enough for you, like, this should have never happened, we can't be together. It's like, again, that classic, the guy's like, I'm not good enough for you, we can't be together, this is over. And then she's crying and she's like, what? Like, and so now we've got this like montage of the rest of the episode, or the next episode, where they're not together, they're broken up, they obviously seem very, very sad to be apart. They're kind of doing their own thing, which, although it's sad to see them break up, I think it was good for their characters in general, because it kind of gave them each their moments to realize about themselves. Like I said, Hannah needed this to kind of focus on the Pop Showcase song and like realize that she is capable of writing the song completely on her own and doing something really, really good. And then Garrett's using this time, because he basically gets suspended for 4 games because of the incident. He uses this time to kind of reflect and think if he really wants to play hockey, because he's kind of questioning it, because he's basically played hockey his entire life because of his dad, and because of his dad pressuring him to do it and being so good. And he's like, do I even love hockey? Do I even want to play this anymore? Like, this could be kind of my out. I could just be done now because I'm already, you know, suspended for 4 games. He's kind of using this time to reflect on that. So again, we're watching this, we're upset that they're broken up, but again, you know that they're going to get back together, you know that they're meant for each other, they're sad without each other, they just need this time apart to kind of reflect on their own things in their lives. By the end of this, after they've been broken up and been apart, basically Hannah ends up doing this Pop Showcase that she's been, you know, working for all semester long, and her best friend Allie basically gets all the hockey guys to come watch her and support her in this thing, because again, that's what friends are for, that's what they, you know. And then basically they're all like convincing Garrett, they're like, come on, you gotta be there, dude. He's like, well, yeah, but what if she doesn't want me there? And they're like, dude, she wants you there, like, you guys are meant for each other, you have to come, like, come on. So it's like, yeah, duh, of course. So then they all go and they're supporting her, and you see Hannah do this thing, like I said, the song that I mentioned earlier, like, she did this amazing song that kind of, again, now that I've explained it all, she writes this amazing song about her past traumas and how, although it doesn't define her, she wouldn't be who she is now without that past, without who she used to be, and all the secrets she used to keep and all the fear she used to have. Like, she's stronger now because of it. And then also in the song, you know, there's, like I said, mentions of like her love for Garrett and like moving on for this, you know. And this whole time that she's singing, you just see Garrett just completely like mesmerized by her. He's always loved watching her sing from the very first episode, like I said, even before they were dating, before they had a thing for each other. Like, he's very interested in her and her singing, and very impressed by it, and very, like I said, I feel like mesmerized. And so yeah, that happens, and then after that, you see, you know, she reunites with him in the parking lot or in the street afterwards by his car, and he's just like, you know, you could be with whoever you want to be with, but I really want that person to be me. Like, I want you, I need you, like, you make me a better person, I just want to be everything that you are, like, you're so good, this, passionate about this, like, all, like, they have their moment, they kiss, and that's, you know, they get back together, basically. Another slight topic that I was going to bring up but not really get too far into, because, again, I'm not super knowledgeable yet, as I don't know the lore, I don't know the books. For what I do know, this TV show is very different from the books. They made a lot of changes. They added some characters, took some characters out, made some characters more important, so on and so forth. But from what I do know, from what I have read and heard from other people who have read the books, is similarly to Heated Rivalry and or Bridgerton, there are multiple couples in this series that intertwine at some point. Now, differently from Bridgerton, because a lot of people are like, wait, is this going to be like Bridgerton where each season is dedicated to one couple? It's seeming like it's not exactly going to be like that, because even in this season, which like I said, I haven't really mentioned yet, but I'm going to bring it up just a little bit, there was another couple, and that's Dean and Allie. Dean is another one of the hockey players that Garrett lives with, one of his close friends, and Allie is Hannah's best friend, the one that she lives with. They end up having a little secret fling together, a little secret hooking up, not really relationship, but kind of behind the scenes that no one really knows about. Throughout the season, we do get a little bit of like at least half an episode dedicated to them, kind of realizing when their little fling started and how it was happening during all the other scenes we had seen in the past. So because of this, like I was gonna say, I think it's not gonna be exactly like Bridgerton, because it sounds like all the seasons are gonna be intertwined constantly, because a lot of the storylines in each of the books are happening at the same time. So it's like, even though this was Garrett and Hannah's season, they'll for sure continue to be in the show and we'll continue to see moments in their relationship into the next season. But it is sounding like next season is going to be Dean and Allie. Their story is actually the third book of the series, but just again, the way the timing of it works, they get together the same time as Garrett and Hannah, so I think they again intertwined this season, and next season will mostly focus on them. But again, I'm not 100% sure on that because I haven't read the books, and I'm just going off of what I've seen online from other people. As like similarly to Heated Rivalry, there's many couples in this book, basically, or in this series. Each book is about a different couple. So first book is The Deal, Hannah and Garrett. Second book is his Garrett's best friend, John Logan, who's also on the hockey team and who he lives with, one of his housemates, and his love interest. And then the third book is Dean and Allie, and I believe the fourth book is John Tucker, which is their fourth housemate and like friend and hockey teammate, and his love interest. And so each book's a different love interest, and like I said, there's like a second sequel series where I think it's their kids, and from what I've heard, John Logan's daughter and Garrett and Hannah's son end up together in a book later down the line as well. So like I said, this book is the series is super intertwined, and like the characters mix around and like are one big happy family from what it sounds like, you know, like they all end up still staying friends and all this stuff throughout the series. So yeah, this one, like I said, I'm not super knowledgeable on the lore of the series. All I'm going off of is just from what I've witnessed from the TV series. I've watched it once all the way through, and now I'm on my second watch, because I feel like in general, like I said, I watched it for the first time all in one night, and I feel like that's a lot to take in one night. You're seeing it all for the first time, you're getting excited over the little things, like, oh my god, no way, this, that, oh, what? And it's like, it's a lot to take in on first watch. So I feel like after watching it one way all the way through, I start watching the edits on TikTok, I start watching people's videos about it, and then I go and rewatch it a second time, and I'm like, I'm already noticing things that I didn't notice the first time. Like, I didn't even notice that when she sang Cherry Pie, she was referencing, because he was listening to that song when she walked in on him with another girl. Like, didn't even catch on to little things like that. So I'm on my second watch right now, and so I'm very not knowledgeable on this. I just wanted to share my instant thoughts and reactions to this and stuff while it's still fresh and still popular, and there still are people watching it for the first time because it hasn't even been out for a full week yet. But yeah, in general, shows like this one, and just like I said, The Summer I Turned Pretty, Heated Rivalry, like the shows to obsess over that are based off of books, it's really easy to fall in love and obsess over men written by women is kind of like the term that's used. Like, these are men, book characters first, but then also, you know, even like the TV adaptation version of them, like these are characters written by women. And it's easy to obsess over that when, like I said, just like in Heated Rivalry and what I said in my video about that, there's a lack of toxic masculinity, which is really refreshing to see. Especially going into the show, you see it's basically 4 hockey guys. It's Garrett, Dean, Logan, and Tucker are 4 hockey players that live together, and they kind of give off frat house vibes. They've got parties, girls over all the time. Like, right away you think these are going to be, you know, they're going to be kind of douchey, like just players, you know. And even at the beginning of the show, Garrett and Dean, I think especially, give off that vibe, because Dean is kind of played at the beginning of the show. Like I said, we learn more about him later and his relationship with Allie later in the series, but right away he kind of gives off that he's always got a girl with him, he's always making out with a girl, having sex with a girl, hooking up. Like, that's kind of what he's like showed as in the first episode. And then even Garrett, he seems very confident in himself. He knows he's a star hockey player. He knows he can get any girl at the school he wants because they're all obsessed with him. Like, he kind of plays that confident playboy vibe. But really soon, once he gets close with Hannah and starts being friends with her, you realize that he's actually not. He's like a really sweet, kind, thoughtful guy that's not anything douchey at all. Because I really do remember my first watch, I was like, he seems kind of a douche. He seems kind of like a dick. Like, he's the lead. He's, like, I remember first I was, like, assuming already, just from, like, first couple, like, minutes of the series, you know? I'm like, but then quickly we realize, oh, he's not like that at all. Of course, the main one, like, that stands out to me is, like, in that first episode, he's got this reputation of, I don't do girlfriends. Garrett Graham doesn't do girlfriends. He's too busy for a girlfriend. He doesn't want a relationship. He just hooks up and, like, that's it. He's like, I only do casual. He says all these things, and then quickly you realize how opposite it is when he's with Hannah. When he's with Hannah, he already knows her major. He tells her right away about his mom and how she died a little bit ago, and, like, opens up with her automatically and, like, has this, like, super close relationship with her, a lot of trust with her. And so then, again, you quickly realize that he does want, obviously, Hannah to be more than, like, he wants her to be his girlfriend. And then another part that obviously stands out is, like I said earlier, when the episode where she puts that trust in him to be sexual with him and kind of, like, trusts him with that. He's super, you know, relaxed with her and super, like, patient with her. And he's just like, you know, even from, like, the moment she comes in, he's like, hey, do you want to change into something more comfortable? She's wearing this, like, super tight fitting revealing dress. And she's like, yeah. So then he lets her change. She's like, you don't have to turn around. Like, you're about to see me naked. And he's like, yeah, but, like, not till you want me to. And he's just super, like, you know, when she does have a moment where she kind of freaks out about it and stuff, she's like, what if I'm broken? What if I'm this? What if there's something wrong with me? He's like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, you're not broken. Like, he's like, sex is a super vulnerable thing. And it seems to me like if you're not ready for that, or if you don't trust me enough for that, he's like, that's completely normal. She's like, I do trust you. Like, they have this, like, really deep moment. Again, he's just super, like, patient with her and calm with her, and, like, not being any forcefulness or anything like that with her. And again, I feel like the bar is set so low for men these days, but it's like, yeah, it's like to see that on a TV screen, to see a man be so respectful and patient and, again, wanting consent and, like, all the things, just like what I said with Heated Rivalry, like, I feel like why that show was so refreshing for women to watch as well, especially straight women. It's like, you know, you're seeing men be this way, that's like, we want that in our real lives, and to see it on a screen, it's just done so well. It's really nice to see. All in all, I've really enjoyed this series so far. It's definitely my new obsession, my new thing that I'm into. As I said before with Heated Rivalry, like, I've already created a playlist on my Apple Music of, like, songs from the soundtrack and songs that people are using to edit on TikTok. Like, it's just a way to keep reliving in the series even when I'm not watching it. As I said before as well, I will definitely be reading the books for sure. I'm currently rereading The Long Game and the Heated Rivalry series, so I want to get through that at least. Rereading, like I said, I've already read it, but I'm reading it a second time. I want to get through that first, then I'll probably start buying the books one by one in this series just to read them and get through them one by one. As always, I'm really excited to just have another series like this that's done so well. Apparently, like I said, from people who have read the books and do already love the series so much, also in agreement that it's done so well. The actors seem really amazing. I've already watched a few interviews of them. I'm really excited. They're already about to start filming for season 2, which is super exciting because TV series these days seem like they just want to take years and years to make a new season. So the fact that they just released season 1 and they're already about to start filming season 2 is just super exciting. And yeah, the show, like I said, there's just so much about it that just makes it really, like, catchy. And like I said, I feel like that's, like, the music part of it, like the music and the vibes, like the college campus vibes, partying, friendships, relationships, like bonds, like just everything about it is just, like, such a fun feeling while you're watching it. It gets you really excited, and just, like I said, I don't know, I feel like I'm having fun watching it even though it's not even real life. Like, I'm not even there, but it feels like, you know, it's like, wow, that, like, what a fun time, what a fun group of friends, what a fun, like I said, relationship. It's really refreshing to watch. All right, well, that's gonna be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're watching off campus and you're into it just like me, I hope you really did enjoy this, and we can also obsess over it all together. Leave comments down below if you want to talk about it, have discussions about it, have questions that maybe I didn't answer, things that I didn't talk about. Because like I said, I really do feel like I'm not super knowledgeable on this. I am just giving my thoughts, what I took away from the series, what I've noticed, what I liked about it. And I really didn't go into a lot of the lore because I don't know about it yet. Maybe once I've read the books, I'll be more and more into it and be more knowledgeable on it. But I just wanted to talk about the things that have been on my mind as I've watched in the past few days. And I wanted to share them with you guys. So yeah, that's going to be the end. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.